So what I'm hearing is trends come and go.
Yes.
But when you focus and understand your lifestyle and you know what to do, you can make it work for you in the long haul.
100. That's it. I need to add more to that because that's exactly it.
Yeah.
Focus on you and understand what is that. Imagine once you narrow in on what that issue is.
Yes.
Can I also add something? Some of us, it's like this weird relationship we have with ourselves. Some of us also don't want to let go of parts of ourselves.
That's so true.
So we've been so attached to that part of us that when we hear we need to, and we recognize this part of us, whatever it is not giving you the results that you desire.
Yeah.
There's a part of us that feels we just don't want to let go.
Hi, I'm your host, Rosanne Kamau, a certified nutrition coach with a background in psychology. Here on Hey Sugar Podcast, you will learn how to live a healthy and sustainable lifestyle without dieting. I'll be teaching you practical tips that you can incorporate in your unique lifestyle. I am going to help you break any dieting mindset traps and show you that a healthy and sustainable lifestyle is doable. So if you're ready to change your life for good and create a healthy and sustainable lifestyle for yourself, then this is for you. Let's go.
Welcome to the Hey Sugar Podcast, where we help busy women lose fat without dieting so that they can live healthy lifestyles sustainably. And today, I know you are trying to understand why is this new face here. My name is Dorcas Nyawera. I work with Rosanne, and behind the scene, we also have Sharon who works with us. And we wanted to do something different. So today, I'll introduce our guest. And her name is Rosanne Kamau. She is a professional nutritional coach, a life coach, an entrepreneur, and a podcaster. And she has been doing the previous podcasts. And today we want to hear a little bit about what she has been doing to help women. And you people shared some of the questions you would love addressed. And that's why we have her on the other side. So just to get started, Rosanne.
Hey.
Would you love to say hi to your people?
Of course.
Yes,
hello, everybody.
go ahead.
They're like, Rosanne, we're going to do this. We're going to ask folks and you're going to be on the other side. I'm like, what are we going to be talking about? They're like, you just wait and see. So I'm excited to hear what you have for us and what folks want to hear.
Okay.
Yes.
So we picked up a few questions, but now this one is just us within the team. Okay. And also people want to know just a little bit about you.
Oh.
When you're not busy transforming lives, what are you doing in your downtime?
Oh, that's a good one. Downtime. So downtime is mostly spending time with my family. Downtime is, I would say, walking. I will say listening to podcasts. I'll say movies because I love watching movies.
Yeah.
Downtime is, in fact, I always say, I feel like my life is a little boring.
Oh, really?
Because that's what I usually do. So reading books, watching movies, spending time with my husband. We like to philosophize things and issues. Like if you would come and listen to our conversations, we are either solving world problems issues, mostly people issues because we are people.
Yeah.
I also love hosting. Oh, how can I forget that? That's actually something that I would say is a downtime type thing. So having friends and people that edify. And exercising. Those are things that I do that are downtime.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting. And it really aligns with what you really do. And so just to get into some of the questions that came up, what have you seen as the major fat loss trends in Kenya, in Africa, or probably even globally?
Trends globally. So I've seen actually several. And what I've also realized is it's almost like they start in the West and I see them creeping into the country. And every season is different. So right now we're in 2004. Currently.
2024.
2024. Yeah, did I say 2004? It's 2024. We're in 2024. Yes. So currently in Kenya and globally, can I say by the way, it also depends on the market. Okay. So I have seen teas, detox teas. I've seen cleanses. That's another one that's very popular, especially in the Kenyan market. I've seen liposuction. I've seen, there's also a lot of our clients work with, at least the clients we work with, have tried a program where they are required to measure their foods. I've also seen, and lately now, medication, Ozempic, semaglutide, where you're getting injection. So that's sort of like, these are the trends that I'm seeing in terms of diets. I've also seen on the other side, I'm noticing coaches speaking differently and really talking to sustainability. I've begun to see other coaches speak on sustainability, which is what I've preached for years. And I like that because people are recognizing diets do not work.
Yeah.
They're beginning to recognize it's not about short-term fixes. It's about this long-term trend.
Yeah.
So those I'm seeing. And I think if I may add this on in terms of trends, I want to applaud people who are trying to look for ways to lose weight. And I want to applaud folks because what they're doing is they're trying to see what fits my lifestyle, right? The thing that I want to caution folks is if you've been on this journey for a long time and you've been trying to lose weight for a long time, the caution is if you haven't mastered your lifestyle, diets will not work. And a diet is simply a way of life. What is lifestyle? A lifestyle is also a way of life.
Yeah.
But that's what trumps every other diet. Meaning, you've got to be able to master whether it's your nutrition, whether it's overeating, whether it's maybe you're taking too much alcohol, maybe you're taking too many processed foods. Like there's a part of you that still hasn't said goodbye to vices that hold you back. And so maybe in your mind, you're thinking, if I can do this diet together with too much alcohol, together with, I don't want to give up processed foods, that's when it doesn't work. It may look like it's going to work short term, but you see these diets, you can't stick on them for a long period because they're not sustainable. So what I'd want to say is the cautionary tale is, please figure what your vice is and work on that. Because I can assure you, each one of us, it's just like a small tweak that you need to make and you're going to be fine. And then you can be able to create a sustainable lifestyle.
And for some reason, when you just broke down the, surgeries, the liposuction, it just felt exhausting. And when you brought out the issue of the lifestyle, the vices, it just made it sound a little complex.
And you know what, if I may, actually, let me talk about surgeries, because I've actually seen a couple of clients who have gone and done surgeries and they've actually gained the weight back. Why? Because they still haven't fixed their lifestyle. My point is, you can go and get surgeries, and the surgeries are different. And they, by the way, they help a lot of people. So I also want to be clear that we're not beating this down. They do help people, and they're different surgeries. Like someone can do a gastric sleeve, which is where your stomach, part of your stomach gets cut out so that you eat a little bit. So it's like you're forcing your body to just eat in a little bit of food. But I've still seen folks who've done that. Your stomach will stretch. Your stomach muscles do stretch.
Because of the habits.
Yeah, because of those habits that we're talking about. And so you've got to figure those habits. I also have seen clients who've done liposuction. They've done liposuction. They've gained the weight back. And because what liposuction does is it targets specific fat cells in the body. So once those are removed specifically for a majority of women is where you struggle with the tummy. So that gets removed. But when you notice your lifestyle still hasn't been fixed, after a couple of years, you will notice the weight gain in other parts of your body. So what I'm saying is, these are the trends that I'm seeing, and I understand trends will be here, but I want us to become an educated population where we recognize what we need to do is really get to the bottom of figuring out what is your vice. What is that thing? Because it will not matter what diet you do. It will not matter what surgeries you do if you do not fix the lifestyle. So it's really important that we're coming at it from a place of, we recognize there's a struggle. We recognize there are people who maybe have addiction issues. If you feel you have addiction issues with food, go see an addiction specialist. Like that's the line to go. And it takes time, because you've also got to remember this, Dorcas, habits take years. Diets promise short term. The thing you need to focus on is, can we undo all these things that you've created over years? They don't change overnight. Make peace with that it doesn't change overnight. It takes time. The problem is diets come and promise the quick fixes, which I understand human nature, we want quick results. But then what happens? Because we still haven't addressed these habits that have been systemic for years, that's now when we see that yo-yo effect. You gain, you lose, you go for surgeries, you still gain that weight. So all these are the things that we're saying, can we focus on the lifestyle and can we focus on sustainability?
So what I'm hearing is trends come and go.
Yes.
But when you focus and understand your lifestyle and you know what to do, you can make it work for you in the long haul.
100, you have, that's it. I need to add more to that because you've actually, that's exactly it.
Yeah.
Focus on you and understand what is that thing. Imagine once you narrow in on what that issue is.
Yes.
Can I also add something? Some of us, it's like this weird relationship we have with ourselves. Some of us also don't want to let go of parts of ourselves.
That's so true.
So we've been so attached to that part of us that when we hear we need, and we recognize this part of us, whatever it is not giving you the results that you desire.
Yeah.
There's a part of us that feels we just don't want to let go because we're so familiar with this.
Yeah.
And what is that? That's mind, right? So you're now scared of the future version of you because you don't know who she's going to be.
Yes.
So for some of us, we're so attached to this old version of us. And again, that's why you need to work with someone to help you become detached to that version of you so that you can actualize the version of you that you want to become.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's internal change.
It is internal change. And that's why it's transformation.
Yeah.
And that's why it's not easy. But you know what I say?
Yeah.
Which easy do you want? Like choose your hard.
Yeah.
Choose your hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
You want a hard lifestyle or do you want hard of working? Because both are going to be hard.
Yes.
So choose your hard.
True.
Choose your hard.
Wow. We've just started, they're already there and I'm liking it. I'm really, really liking it. The other question that came in was, aside from fat loss, what other issues have you seen food causing or resolving? Can
you ask that question
So
again?
aside from fat loss, what other issues have you seen food causing? Maybe you can start from there.
Okay, what okay, got it. Diseases, metabolic disease, got it.
Yeah.
So it can cause a lot of things. If we lack balance, what are some of the things that... So first, let's even break this down.
Yes.
Food, what do we do? Human beings are supposed to be eating, we're supposed to eat food, right? Fine. So why do we eat food? To survive. We eat food for connection. We eat food to, as families. Really, food is, it's part of our society. It's part of our culture. Now, what has happened is, over the last 100 years, as the world has become more industrialized, whatever that means, but we all know what that means, as it's become more industrialized, we've also noticed that food has become more industrialized as well, right? And this is one thing that I will say. If you see food being marketed on TV, that's like your first cue. Be mindful because food that grows in the garden is good for you. Yes. But the minute we see food being marketed on TV, anyway, so food is there for eating, etc. So over the last 100 years, what we've seen is we've also seen food being engineered, meaning food is actually now made in labs. Why? The story we have been fed and we have been told is it's going to make your life easier. It's more convenient. Your lives have become busy. I get it and I understand it.
Yeah.
And so because we've been told a story, and I need folks to understand stories, we're going to always live based on our stories. So these stories have been fed to us over and over and over to the point where in our mind, we believe what we are being sold to, well, it's helping, it's been convenient for me and it helps me. But there's something that they don't tell us as scientists. The food that they sell us, majority of this food is engineered in the labs. And when it's engineered, the way it's made, it's actually made to become more addictive. So the ingredients that they use in these foods, there's hidden sugars in those foods. There's a lot of chemicals in them. And these chemicals make us addicted to these foods. So they become highly palatable. So we want to eat more of them. And we find ourselves just wanting to eat more of these foods. Yeah. So what do these foods cause? They cause some form of addiction inherently. Yeah. 1. 2, they change our microbiome. What's our microbiome? This is where in our gut, in our digestive tract, is where we have bacteria that stays in the gut. Yeah. We have good and bad bacteria. So I'm just making it super simple so that in common, trying to make it as simple as possible, for the person at home to understand. So we have good and bad bacteria in our gut, in our microbiome. The idea is we want more of the good bacteria in the microbiome. That's the idea. Now, our microbiome, or the bacteria in the gut, grows based on what you're feeding it. If these foods therefore become addictive, guess what happens? you get more of those gut bacteria in your gut that wants more of these foods that are addictive. And so you find yourself craving more of these foods. And so once you find yourself craving these foods are very low in nutrition, highly addictive, high in calories, and these are the foods that you'll now begin to cause a lot of metabolic disease, metabolic syndrome, lifestyle diseases, etc. So things like diabetes, high blood pressure, cholesterol. And as a result of having something like known as high fatty liver, you're going to notice maybe they use oils that are not healthy, hydrogenated oils. So these foods and these oils become addictive to the body. They become detrimental to the body. And so now your body, it doesn't happen overnight. It is slowly over time, because now you're doing this consistently. You then find yourself, you begin to notice. What are some things you notice? You notice skin changes.
Yes.
Skin breaking out.
Acne.
Okay. Acne. That's one of those things. You also begin to notice excess fat, specifically this midsection.
Yes.
And if I may, I don't know if you had this question, but I'm just going to dive into it because it's here.
Go ahead.
Right? So we have known as visceral fat. Visceral fat is that fat that we find in our mid-belly. So we have two types of fat, the visceral fat and the subcutaneous fat. The visceral fat is what you find in the mid-belly section. Why that mid-belly? Because it covers your vital organs. So it covers your heart, your kidney, your liver, and that's the dangerous fat. It's actually metabolically active, so it's not good fat. We have subcutaneous fat. Now, subcutaneous fat is what you find in your arms, your glutes, your thighs. You know, and for cosmetic reasons, a lot of people are like, oh, I kind of want to lose fat. And that one is, by the way, that one is easy. It's easy to go once you start trying to lose fat. So those are some of the things that happens when we're now eating the processed foods. And what are processed foods? These are simply foods that you're going to find in a supermarket. They are foods that have a long shelf life. They are foods that don't go bad quickly. These are the foods that we say most likely are processed, most likely don't have great ingredients in them, and most likely, if you become addicted to them, can be detrimental to your body.
So also the microwave food sometimes, when you just buy from the supermarket and
you
put
just
2 minutes.
These foods, let me tell you guys, these foods are actually not healthy for us. And I'm going to, and I understand and I get it. Once in a while, let's say you have nothing, you know, you're busy or whatever, once in a while, but I'd strongly encourage us to really try to consider getting whole foods from the garden. That's really the story that I'd want women to get out of this. And why women, even guys, okay? But especially if you are in charge, because women are mostly in charge of the homes, they're the ones who are in charge of the whatever. But if we have dudes who are also doing that, it's also important that you recognize it's better that you have those whole foods. And in fact, we can even maybe share, because a lot of people are like, are they quick? Are they whatever? I'll be like, let me tell you, like how quick they can be. Like we make our sweet potatoes, we'll freeze them. Arrowroots, we'll freeze them. We'll make meatballs, we'll freeze them. Vegetables, we'll freeze them. Why? So that if I want a quick meal, I'm just going to go grab something that I know I've already made. And I'll cook it quickly on the stovetop, or I'll throw it in the microwave. So that's how foods can be bad. How good can they be? Now, the other part is...
Sorry, allow me to interrupt you. Because there's something I've also seen coming up. People struggling a lot with period pain. And there's some aspect of food that has been involved.
Yes,
Maybe you can speak.
In fact, when we coach clients, one of the things, and of course, because you're on this inside, you'll say, is a lot of people, women will say, oh my God. And it's usually like an afterthought.
Yes.
My period came and left. And I did not even feel what I used to feel before, whether it's too much pain or... inconsistency in the amount of period. It's always very different, but every woman is different. But that's a result of not balancing the hormones. Because one of the things that we're huge on when we're coaching our clients is we want them to understand why they're eating their foods, because we want them to balance their hormones.
Yes.
So we focus on balanced foods, but a key component is we help women. How do you balance your hormones based on the foods that you're eating? And so once they balance their hormones, because they're eating balanced meals and we're teaching them how to eat to help them lose weight, they write back to us, even in the testimonials when they come, they're like, oh my God, I didn't realize. Like my period came and left. Like we've seen enough of those testimonials. In fact, if we can look for them, we can share some of those stories here. Where people are saying, my God, my period came and and I didn't feel the pain, or they've now become so regular. So those are some of those things. By the way, food is it has a lot of effect. And if I can jump on and say how food is medicine, that's Hippocrates is the one who said that, right? Hippocrates is the father of medicine. And one of the things he said was, let food be thy medicine. Let food be thy medicine. What's that? If you actually think about the pills that a lot of people take, and I'm not saying don't take your pills, that's not what I'm saying. A lot of that is extracted from foods, all right? So the baseline is plants, the baseline is food from some of the medication that's out there. But what he said and what he knew is what our forefathers knew. Let food be thy medicine. Why is this? Food affects your mood. Food affects your energy. Food affects your output, the way you're thinking. Because again, of what we talked about earlier, hormone balance.
Yeah.
So food is powerful in ensuring that you balance your hormones, and it's very powerful in when you have a variety of it. It has phytochemicals in it. If you have your vegetables, they have your vitamins. All these things work well, and they work to give you a good body. So food can either be detrimental or it can work for you. And can it work for you? 100% it can work for you. It's worked for thousands of our clients. It's worked for me.
Yeah.
It's worked for you. Look at you,
yes,
girl.
It has. Ooh.
Listen, can I, I'm just going to throw this in. You guys, I will show you a picture of what I was going to wear for the podcast, okay? We're going to put it on the screen. So you guys, if you're listening to this, we're going to put this on the screen. This girl came out. I saw her and I was like, excuse me. No, we cannot show up like that. Because it's also helped you. It's also helped you, hasn't it?
It has. And probably we can link the podcast that we did sharing my story.
Yes, actually, we can link it at the bottom. We'll link it at the bottom so that you guys can hear our story. Yes,
by all means. You've also mentioned something a little bit about planning, because we're dealing with busy women. That's why they find themselves taking the quick meals from the supermarkets or other things, whatever other places close by. And you've talked a little bit about planning. What are your thoughts about meal plans? I know it's a question phrased a little differently in the whatever, but what are your thoughts about meal plans?
So meal plans don't work. They work until they stop working.
Wow. Okay.
They work until they stop working. Now, I'll tell you what. The thing with meal plans is the way they've been put out to us. It's almost like we all go, you come to me as a coach, I'm like, Rosanne, give me a meal plan. Now, you know I don't do that. I used to do that many years ago until I realized, wait, no, they don't work. Because folks want to go back and eat the foods that they love to eat. And so what I usually say is, instead of looking for a meal plan, how about you figure what's going to work based on what you typically eat? So look at the foods that you like to eat. Remember, your lifestyle is different. Your preferences are different. Backgrounds are different. Our cultures are different. Spirituality, we're different. So we all have ways that we choose our foods based on either our backgrounds, our preferences, etc. And also lifestyle, because some people travel, some people are stuck at home, some people are, you have kids, some people you're in the office, so there's all these foods that are coming in. So there's all these different lifestyles that come along. Now, if I've given you a meal plan and I've said, this is all you need to eat. What happens with meal plans is it keeps people in boxes.
Yes.
Right? Number one, once you're put in a box, you for me, it makes you not think for yourself.
Yes.
You're not able to, and you're not able to get outside the box. Human beings, the minute you put them in a box, what do they want to do?
They want to be out.
We want to be out of that box. And that's why they don't work, because I haven't thought for myself. So I'll be thinking, what do I do? And so it puts a lot of people in that mental, for me, psychology is my background.
Yes.
I'm always very keen on noticing the psychology behind people's behaviors and how people are behaving. So when you're put in a box, you can't think. What I've seen with a lot of my clients is once they get out of the box, this box had either restricted them too much, they were eating too little. They find themselves on the other extreme where they're now overeating because they can't be able to figure out what to do for themselves. So a lot of what we do is we help clients make their own meal plans. We empower you to make your own meal plan based on your own meals and based on the foods that you love and your preference. What that does is now you are free.
True.
Free to create whatever you want to create, to eat what you want to eat. And what happens is over time, we build confidence. Isn't it? Because over the years, they probably have been put in these boxes. They were not quite confident. That's the psychology I'm talking about. So they live in fact, just see some of them ask, it's like asking for permission. Can I eat this? Okay, girl, you want to eat bread? She's like, girl, go ahead. Like, don't even ask.
Yes.
Because you know what that tells us?
Yes.
They haven't had that confidence over the years because maybe someone had told them,
This
you cannot
is
have bread.
the only way.
And this is the only way to follow it.
Yes.
So that's the psychology behind it. And once we help women, one of the things they say is, oh God, Rosanne, I just feel so free.
Yeah.
I'm like, girl, that's what we want for you. We want you to be free. Yeah.
And actually, that just takes me back to what I have enjoyed seeing our clients do is when they're traveling.
Yeah.
And some of them are really frequent travelers. Like, I'm able to make plans ahead. And they're like, even my PAs know, even, so-and-so knows. And I'm like, wow, that's so good. And like, it's actually out of their head because they're like, this is how I want things done.
Yeah.
Then it's out of your head.
Yeah.
Apart from traveling, it's people who are in like remote or working in
hardship
areas. And it has still worked for them.
Yes.
Without that whole restriction.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because we help them understand choose based on what you have over there.
And even working in different cultures, people around the world.
Yes.
Like what's available for you.
Yes.
Because that's the question you ask, and they're taking a step back, like, just tell me what to do.
Tell me what to do. And
no. And they, start throwing in food ideas slowly slowly able to get them, and they build and grow that confidence over time.
They build the confidence.
And you even see them telling other ladies,
don't do that.
Yeah. This is where we are at, and this is where we're headed, and this is where we're going. That has been so exciting.
Exactly.
And we're talking about coming out of the box, but there's some ladies who are like, I've tried all these plans. I've also done the meal plan. It's worked for a bit, but I got to a place where I plateaued. Do you help with plateaus?
Of course. I mean, a plateau, and by the way, a plateau is very normal. And what is a plateau, if someone is asking? That just means your body has adapted to losing weight. By the way, your body never likes to lose weight. FYI, it wants to stay where it's at because it's already been used to that. But when we know we're not healthy and we're trying to lose weight, the key is when you do it gradually, you're losing weight gradually, the body does not feel like there's much of a threat to it. Okay? When it's drastic, that's when your body, I'm telling you, it will want to swing back to the other side because it's drastic. That's why we always say, look at the science, look at the history, look at what people have been doing. When it is gradual, it's more sustainable, it's easy to lose that weight. But at some point, your body will get to a point where it plateaus, where it's not releasing any more weight. Now, there's two things I want us to look at. You want to look at whether you're close to your ideal body weight.
Okay.
That's one. The second thing is, has your body adapted to what you're already eating? Because your body will adapt to what you're already eating. When it adapts to what you're already doing, you will need to change things out. So let's say you still have a couple more kilos to lose, maybe 10 kilos, 20 kilos, I don't know, but you're stuck there. It just means your body has adapted.
Okay.
That's it. So it means you're probably giving enough calories. It understands what's coming in. And so, iko sawa. So it's not releasing any more weight.
Your body's okay. You're the one who has a problem.
Yes. So what you're going to do there, it's you either increase your energy output, meaning you work out a little bit more. You could add more steps. You could start walking more. You could start going, if you're going to the gym 3 times a week, add an extra day. Not even crazy. And do that literally for 2 weeks and see if there's going to be a change.
Rosanne, that will make me look masculine. That's what they say.
That's what they say. And you won't. You won't.
Yeah.
In fact, strength training for women is the best thing that you can do for yourself. Because what it does is, it literally helps define your muscles. You build more lean muscle mass. You will never look like a guy. Why? We don't have enough testosterone in our bodies. Women do not have enough testosterone to look like men. And so for us women, you actually want to lift those weights. Especially once, in fact, I'm going to say in your 30s and beyond. Start embracing strength training. I will push that, you guys. I've been doing strength training from when I was 30. I started with HIIT and strength, both of those. I'll encourage that. Cardio is also good. Kenya is a country of runners. Right? We are runners in Kenya, and running is okay and it's good. The thing with the running is a couple of things. It does strip off your lean muscle mass. Okay. If you enjoy it, keep at it, but add some form of strength training. So that's one. It strips off your lean muscle mass, and lean muscle mass is a metabolically active tissue that helps you burn fat long term. So we actually want to retain lean muscle mass. Secondly, women in your 45s and above, your perimenopausal, I would actually say walk more.
Wow.
Walk more not running and strength train.
Okay.
Walk and strength train. And then obviously watch your nutrition. Watch what you're eating, because that is now what helps change your actual physique.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say. So no, you're not going to look like a man.
So when you say drastic change, then on the other side, I'm thinking, then what would be the normal change? Like, let's work with a month, let's work with kilos or pounds. Okay. What should one look towards losing, like in a period of a month? What's realistic?
What's realistic is usually 1 to 2 pounds a week, or 0.5 to 1 kilo a week is realistic, sustainable weight loss if you're stepping on the scale. So that's usually sustainable. Now, you guys know, if you don't know, you're going to know now. I'm a fan of the scale.
Yeah.
I never have been a fan of the scale because the scale doesn't give you everything. I prefer a tape measure because tape measures specifically measuring your midsection. That's usually the best, where you want to check your waist hip ratio. That usually gives you a much better range. We actually have that.
Yes.
We have a thing that we can give you guys, so you can check at the bottom of the screen. We'll give you a link to check whether you are in the healthy range and healthy range. I think that's a much better tracker of health
compared to the weight,
compared to the scale
or scale.
So scale
weight,
BMI, they tend to be a little bit off. The BMI was based on mostly men, and the men who are of a different stature than, it was mostly based on Caucasian men. So even though it's still used to this day, it's not the best tracker. You've got to remember. So we work with clients from all over the world, right? So we have Africans, we have Caucasians, we have Asians, we have Indians, like literally
all over.
We everybody. True. When you think about just putting us there, we all look very different. We carry our weight differently, just genetically, because of who we are. And so because of that, the waist-hip ratio becomes a better judge of health than the scale that you're stepping on. Scale does not tell you everything. It gives you a number, which, and a lot of those women, you've seen those memes online where when women step on the scale, it's like, Actually, there's a meme I think we saw. There's a little kid who stepped on the scale, and she just screams. And so her mama asked her, "Why are you screaming?" Yeah. And she's like, "Because mommy, every time you step on the scale, you scream."
Yes, I've seen it.
Yeah. So I would prefer that we use this tape measure than the scale. But if you're stepping on the scale, ideally 0.5 to 1 kilo a week is sustainable.
Okay.
Or 1 to 2 pounds a week is sustainable.
So weight loss and fat loss, that's what you've kind of addressed, because I've seen that question and I just want us to just continue meshing up together. Okay. What's the difference? Just quickly, because I know you've kind of mentioned that. Okay. But also tell us.
Let me answer one.
Go ahead.
Because if you ask two questions,
go ahead.
Your girl's going to get lost.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's keep it.
So weight loss and fat loss, those are two very different things. And I focus on fat loss. When you're looking at weight loss, this is when we step on a scale and we see numbers going down. Okay. And it's good when the numbers go down.
Yeah.
But what it doesn't tell you is what kind of weight you're losing. When a lot of people are on a weight loss journey, they lose. The goal, by the way, when people come is they want to lose fat. That's the goal. When people say I want to lose weight, essentially what they say.
That's what we say, but
what we mean. But what we mean is you want to lose fat.
Yeah.
You know, what's bulging when you sit down or even when you stand, when you wear clothes, there's that stuff that's, the fat that's hanging out. That's what we want to lose.
Yeah.
When we're talking about fat loss, what we want to do is you want to preserve your lean muscle mass.
Okay.
You want to preserve muscle.
Okay.
You want to preserve muscle. And you want to focus on specifically losing fat. Okay? When that happens, you may, and you're focusing on fat loss, which has happened to a lot of our clients.
Yes.
They will step on a scale and they will say, Rosanne, the scale hasn't moved.
Yes.
But I've noticed my clothes are fitting better. Yes. I have noticed I look better. I have noticed my zips are zipping up. I just noticed. In
fact, they don't notice. Yeah. It's other people who first
notice. And then you're right. You're right. That's a good one.
Yeah.
So what fat loss does is you're specifically targeting on, we focus on feeding your lean muscle mass.
Yeah.
Preserving your lean muscle mass by what you're eating, by focusing on strength training, and obviously hydrating, eating a balanced diet. And when people are focused on weight loss, you're going to lose fat, but you're also going to tap into lean muscle mass. and you never
want
to lose your lean muscle mass. Like I want ladies to hear me on this one. Because that's what diets do.
Yes.
You will step on the scale, you will lose weight, you'll be excited, but you're losing critical lean muscle mass. And muscle, again, is an active tissue that actually helps you burn fat, but it also helps you keep your bones strong, and it also gives you that strong curvature look that a lot of women are looking for. So muscle is your friend.
And that's probably also what makes you look kind of younger, I think.
What younger is obviously when you're eating a balanced diet.
Okay.
When you eat a balanced diet, now your skin looks supple.
Yeah.
You're drinking water. Like everything just looks nice. So there's no haggard look.
Yeah.
There's always like a difference. You can tell someone who has dieted and someone who is healthy. So when we're talking about fat loss, for me, it's really that healthy overall holistic approach that we're looking for.
So you're also saying people can lose fat in an unhealthy way.
But when you lose fat unhealthily, you will tap into muscle as well. You will tap into muscle for majority of people.
So is that like, do people look like malnourished, or how does that look like?
It's going to show up differently on everybody. Everybody's going to show up differently.
Okay.
You know, there are clients who tell you, I lost weight. In fact, there's a client that we did a podcast with, and she's like, I lost weight and I didn't like the way. In fact, a couple, I didn't like the way I looked.
Wow.
Because again, you're just losing a lot of weight very quickly.
Yes.
And even that quick weight loss, because your skin hasn't had enough time, you'll notice the droopy skin, dry skin, all those things.
Yeah. So in your experience, what have you seen people struggling with the most with fat loss?
The struggles are different. And when the women who've come in, there's a couple of things that I've seen. Number one, meal plan, give me a meal plan. That's a struggle because they still have that mindset of tell me what to do. So I have to educate them and tell them, you know what, I want to empower you so that you can be able to do this based on your lifestyle. So that's one big struggle, is helping the women relinquish their power. And so I'm saying, I want to give you back your power so that you become empowered, and you're going to be able, literally, depending on your lifestyle, create your meals however you want. That's one. Second struggle has been wanting to see quick results, especially if they've done diets in the past and they've probably seen results within a week or 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So there's a conditioning that happens that tells them, therefore, every other thing I do, I should be able to see results really quickly. But what they don't realize is it takes time for your body to change when you're doing things sustainably. It's not about the quickness.
Yes.
So it's now educating them and helping them understand, trust the process because it takes time. Sustainability, and you're still going to lose that weight. That's actually what I say. It just doesn't happen overnight like you've done in previous programs. So that is, in fact, if there's any, educating them that part. Why? Because like when we coach inside our program, one of our signature programs is called Hey Sugar.
Yes.
And what we do in that program, it's a group program where it's a cohort of women that we're coaching at the same time in a group setting. Now, every 2 weeks, we usually say, check your measurements, check your results. And invariably, you will have one group of people, the first 2 weeks, who've done really well.
Yeah.
And you'll have a group of people who still haven't seen their results. So what I usually tell them is that's invariably going to happen. You will have some people who will see results quickly and others will see results later.
Because we're different.
Because we're all different. Your bodies are different, lifestyles are different, metabolism is different, all those things. Now, it's this latter group that we work a lot on. Because the first group, they're going to have that intrinsic motivation because they're already seeing results. This other group, two things will happen. It's like, am I not doing something right? Or why are these people ahead of me and I'm not there? So you can see, it's almost they feel like they are starting from behind. So we work with those to let them know, as long as you're doing something, I promise you your results will catch up. Just keep showing up. And we look at the meals, we coach them, and we help them. And invariably, this is the part where I say, just because you don't see results over or quickly does not mean you're not doing the work.
True.
Keep showing up. That's the part where now it's a lot of mentor coaching to help women. Please don't give up. I promise you, you're on the right track. Keep showing up. So in fact, there's Yvonne, we coached Yvonne. when I was coaching her, she had done a couple of diets. And one of the things that happened to her with all the previous diets, she had lost a lot of weight quickly. So when I was working with her weight loss wasn't coming as quickly. And I just kept telling her, girl, keep showing up.
Yeah.
Just keep doing the work. Invariably, by the end of the first year, she had lost like 40 kilos. Just kept showing up.
Yeah.
She just kept showing up.
Yeah.
And so it's this whole thing where I really want to let women know. I want you to remove that time factor.
Yeah.
And you just keep doing the work and you just keep showing up. Because invariably you will catch up and you will notice there's not much pressure. So those are some of the biggest issues. And then obviously, tell me what to do. Tell me what to eat.
Yes.
Tell me what to eat, Rosanne. You just tell me what to eat.
Yeah.
And again, that's not going to be sustainable. I can tell you, but it's not going to, for majority of people, it's not sustainable.
Yeah. So I hear patience as something people really struggle with.
Yes.
And
consistency is another huge one. This one, consistency, this typically comes, because I've also noticed this, even when clients come and we're working with them and we're still helping them create their own meal plans, if you don't let go of the old diet mindset, it's going to be hard. It's still going to be hard because there's still a part of you, there's still a version of you that still wants to see results quickly. So consistency will always be a problem if you haven't mastered the principles and the skills. And the key is, can you master these principles and skills? And if you're struggling, please speak up.
yes.
Because a lot of people struggle quietly behind the scenes. Oh, I don't want to be seen like I'm the only one struggling. No. Listen, I have a coach. Actually, I have coaches. And one of the things I do is I will always go and speak out when I need help.
Yeah.
And even especially if it's in a group setting, there's one coach who spoke to me and he was like, this is what you need to do. You guys remember, I played that clip for my team. I was like, you guys, this is what my coach told me. But you know what? He spoke truth.
Yes.
So I put myself in uncomfortable situations with my coach because I want to put myself in an uncomfortable place so that when clients come to me, I also recognize they are uncomfortable and I feel that for them. So don't do life alone. Don't struggle alone. Ask those questions. When you're struggling, ask those questions. And this is where the holistic part comes in. I'm going to throw it on the side. It has nothing to do with food, but it has to do with life.
Yes.
And for me, I've always said, it's so important that you are part of a group of people that can help you with life. My husband and I are part of a group where we are two different groups where we help each other with life skills. And why do we do that? We can't do life alone.
True.
Right? We have a group of slightly older couples and we literally sit under their feet because we want to know what have you done that has helped you become this successful person.
Yeah.
We sit under their feet to listen and soak in their wisdom. That's what we do. We have other peers who we are peers, another group.
Yeah.
We're raising our kids together. And so we're talking about the issues we're going through together. So why do I put myself in these situations? Because I recognize I can't do life alone. And as human beings, we gotta do life together.
True.
So when clients come to us, the reason we have that group setting, why is it?
Yeah.
We want you to do life together.
True.
Because these are women on the same journey. So this is not time to be afraid, to be ashamed. Let's share the journey together.
So Rosanne, I've known you for a few years and I only relate to the age which I have become. I'm young. I enjoy being young.
Excuse me, what you trying to say?
No. I'm just saying there are some clients who have experienced things I have not experienced.
Oh, okay.
And I'd really like us to address it. And it may not have really come up right now, but I know it comes up a lot when we're coaching clients.
Yeah.
And you talk about menopause, premenopause, like even how I'm asking this question, you can tell. I'm not yet there, but I know you get me and how you respond to those clients. And I know there are many ladies out there who may be struggling with this. What should they look out for in terms of signs, number one? What are some tips they can use to help them resolve those issues? I mean, just go ahead.
You see, let me first tell you.
Yes.
Okay, you're going to be here very soon.
I know.
Let me first start there. Please. And the second thing is we really want to demystify it. This is a phase of life that women go through, and we're all going to go through. It's almost like women go through two phases of their lives. First, when you're becoming a young adult and you're going through your puberty and menstruation, that whole period.
Okay.
That's the first phase. We talk about it very openly in books, and we talk about it very well in books. I don't know why perimenopause and menopause has become this stigma that folks don't even want to talk about it, yet it is a part of a woman's life cycle. We will all go through that. And the minute we begin to demystify and not stigmatize it, it literally is a part of the human cycle.
Yeah.
And it's a part of the human body's experience.
Yeah.
So every woman is going to go through this. Now, shock on you. This can start as early as 35.
Oh my God, I'm not far.
Okay, it can start as early as 35, but ideally the literature shows it's 45 to 55. That's when a lot of women perimenopause. What is perimenopause? Yes. Essentially, it's your body beginning to you're now moving into a stage where you can no longer produce eggs in your ovaries, which means you're not going to carry babies, and essentially all the eggs that you are born with literally die off. That's all that means. When that's happening, you also notice that you're going to change your hormones begin to change, specifically your estrogen, estradiol, and progesterone. These are just hormone scientific terms. Okay. Nothing. All that happens for you to now notice how these changes look like. We're going to put a list here on the screen of symptoms that you want to observe that you may experience, because I've experienced them. This is specifically when the hormone estrogen is having that up and down movement. There's a word I'm looking for and the word is disappearing. It's fluctuating, actually. It's fluctuating. And when it's fluctuating, you will notice the common symptoms everyone talks about is hot flashes. When you just start and have literally, it's internal heat that comes in, you feel hot, and then it disappears. So there's hot flashes, but there's very many other things. Some people may have acne when you never ordinarily even had acne when you were younger. You may notice that your joints are beginning to ache. So a lot of people think it's arthritis. Brain fog is another one where you just notice you're becoming forgetful. You may notice your jaw is hurting. You may notice your joints are aching. There's something known as frozen shoulder. I'm actually talking about the things I got to experience. Mood swings and energy dips. All these are things and even a lot more. There's literally, I believe, over 40 symptoms that women go through. And everyone's going to experience different ones. Yeah? Insomnia is a huge one, by the way. That's huge. So what is happening? Perimenopause is before you actually hop into menopause. What's menopause? Menopause simply means you have gone for 1 full year without having a period consecutively for 12 months. The next day, after your 12 months of not having a period, you've now entered into the other phase of menopause. Dorcas, put your hands down. It's nothing to be scared about. You're looking at it.
My days need to be added up, doubled. Anyway,
listen, it's literally
it's
life.
Also preparing for that part of life.
It's preparing for that, but also even the way I got your demeanor.
You can see I'm like, ooh, there's a lot. I need to.
It's not. Yeah, it's really not.
Okay.
But we do it. Our body does change, though.
Yeah,
it does take a beating, and I think, and what I want women to know is to recognize as you're going through these stages. Number one, you're not crazy. There's a lot of women by there who feel the level of depression. So doctors begin to prescribe antidepressants. But I want you to actually speak to doctors who really now understand the science and the history. That you may not necessarily need all those, may not. But I want you to, again, speak to a doctor. So don't be afraid. Simply recognize this stage. Recognize, imefika. It has arrived. Just like, when our periods came, I remember I did a somersault. I was so excited. I did a cartwheel. I told my mom, my period has started. And she's like, I remember them looking at it together with my dad. And by the way, I was on my way to school and it started in the car. And so my dad is the one who came and brought me my whatever. And for me and my dad, we had such a good relationship. Like for us, those things were never taboo. We talked about all those things. And so that's why even as we're moving into this stage, please don't be scared by it. It's become empowered, embrace it, learn from it, and begin to make adjustments as you're moving forward.
Learn from it. And this is where community comes up, so that you're not experiencing these symptoms and you're like, am I an unusual person?
No, you're not. It's normal.
Oh, thank you so much for that. A little calming, but I think the idea for me is get knowledge about it so that when it comes, you're not
embrace
shocked.
It. Exactly.
True.
You embrace it and you work towards really making it work for you. So we are adjusting.
Yeah.
Will it be an adjustment? Yes, it is an adjustment. I'm not even going to lie.
Yeah.
It's going to be an adjustment. So if you make up your mind that, okay, it's here, we're going to adjust and not fight it. Because the more we fight what nature has come, this is actually the statement I like to say. Control what you can control. If you cannot control the outside or other circumstances, focus on what you can control. Anything else you can control, this is nature. You cannot control that, but you can shift it, you can change it. You're the one who needs to make the adjustments and adapt.
And I've seen you coaching ladies on the inside and giving them suggestions of solutions. So you're saying you not only work with these ladies, but you have given them tips too.
Of course.
So here you talk about courage, because I mean, it's not natural for African women. Right now, people are, getting to a place of speaking up, but we first have that tendency of holding back, even in our achievements and successes. We really, are behind, want to camouflage, but you're telling us, if you're struggling, come out.
Say it.
The other thing is, and I think that's what makes also the program different, is it's not only about nutrition.
Yeah.
Who are you hanging around with? Who are you, what's happening in your mind? What are you doing when you're not eating that, affects other areas of your life? Because I've also had a lot of clients say, it's not just about the food.
True.
It's wholesome living.
It's wholesome living because this is the life I've lived. This is how I created. Literally, this program are the things I did that helped me. And so I'm now bringing it to other women. And I'm literally looking at my life and seeing this helped me, this helped me, this helped me. Let me bring it in there and let's help women. And that's why the women will say at the end of the program, they'll be like, this was not what I was expecting. It helped me with my nutrition, but it's helped me in so many other areas of my life. Because for me, I want us to look at this holistically. And when you do this in a holistic manner, man, it's like it's true. Your life does change. Your life does change fully. And that's what I love about it. Yeah.
Do you get people who are skeptical coming in and what are you?
Listen. In fact, I believe a majority, I think everyone, okay, so we have a percentage of people who come and share their stories.
Yeah.
Publicly.
Yeah.
And the first thing they will say is, I was skeptical.
Yeah.
I was skeptical. And I understand it. I don't even question. I don't judge. I understand it. But why? Look at what they've done in the past.
Yeah.
They've done things that haven't given them lasting results.
Yeah.
And so that's why they would be skeptical. So yes, I understand that. I don't judge it. It's okay. But all I say, speak to people who've done it.
Yeah.
And they will tell you whether they... what was in it for them. They'll tell you what was in it for them.
Yeah. In terms of age ranges or how you want to respond to this, who has been your youngest client and your oldest client?
Okay. So I've actually the youngest client was a 14-year-old boy.
Wow.
Youngest. But him I did at home and I no longer do that.
Okay.
When we started our group coaching, this was about 5 years ago. We decided we're going to make it for women. And most of the people who come in are usually 30s. And the oldest we have, I think, was 67. My oldest client was 72. When that was in 2017, 2018. She's a 72-year-old woman. But inside the group program, I believe 67.
Yeah.
67 has been the oldest, and the youngest has been, we've had 26, 27. But a majority who come are mid-30s, 40s, and 50s.
Yeah.
That's a majority of who come into the program.
But you're saying this can work for anyone?
You can.
At whatever age?
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like you addressed some of the questions, but I still ask them just in case you have things to add. So apart from food, what other factors affect fat loss?
Hydration, sleep, stress, movement a little bit, all these things affect. Sleep is going to be the biggest one. So when we think about, are you sleeping enough? If you're not sleeping enough, I'm telling you, it's going to affect. I had a story that I did. I'd love for you guys to check that out, where I talked about sleep. I wasn't sleeping for maybe 2-3 years or so, where I was completely insomniac, something I never struggled with. I noticed mid-belly fat, and the doctor is the one who sort of made me aware that I was perimenopausal, but I was also addicted to social media. So those are the things. Sleep is a foundation. If you are not sleeping, like, listen to me. I don't care how good you eat. I don't care how much exercise, how much water you drink, how much Zen or whatever you want to do. If you do not sleep, sleep is the foundation of your health. Let me first start there. Second is, you said apart from food, stress.
Yes.
If your lifestyle is high stress, your body perceives that as stress. If your lifestyle has high stress, your body will take that on as stress. And so we're going through what is known as fight or flight mode in our bodies. So your body is constantly fighting, constantly. And it's on fighting mode, you release cortisol, a hormone, and that's going to show up in that mid-belly fat. So cortisol and insulin are different hormones that get released during that time. And so it's really important that we are focusing on our sleep. You're focusing on managing your stress. You're hydrating on water. So you want to eliminate your alcoholic beverages or reduce them drastically. Alcohol is one of those things. It is a toxin in the body. Your body can metabolize it, but it can only metabolize it so much more. It also has addictive properties. It's been shown to affect your liver. So if you find that you're alcoholic, I would strongly recommend to consider reducing your alcohol intake. Moving our bodies. So when we're sitting down, actually sitting down has been classified by the WHO as it's worse than smoking cigarettes, sitting down. So we need to move our bodies more. And so specifically, you want to walk longer, climb up those stairs. If you can walk, walk.
Yes.
Just try and utilize your body as much as you can. And I know one of the questions people might ask is, okay, fat loss, will I lose weight by exercise? It's a very minuscule number. Your biggest dial mover for losing fat is your nutrition. So you gotta focus on what you're eating.
Yes.
Eat your food. Fat movement, like 10-20%, very, very little. So you mostly want to focus on what you're eating.
Okay.
Yeah, and on those other factors.
Yeah. And final question is, now this is from us, how can men support women in this journey?
Oh, how can men support me in this journey? I mean, I'm just going to lean into my husband and just see what he did to support me. And then, hopefully men will be willing to take that approach. Because you have to recognize one thing. Women, we truly are the breath of our society. We have great influence over our husbands, over our children. And men, one of the things you can do is because women, we're always in different seasons, is to recognize we each have a different calling. When God created man and woman, each one of us was created and we're all created with a different calling for a different purpose. So we have a purpose and a role to play in our society, in our home. So whatever that gifting you have as a woman, it would be so good that a man supports that gifting. And to recognize we're not a threat. In fact, we are helping, we're both working together. So whatever that calling, whatever that gifting is that you have as a woman, speak it out, actualize it. So support is going to be very important. And supporting you in whatever journey that you're on, whether that's career, whether that's at home with the kids. Let me bring it back home. We were in Boston when our kids were much younger, when our kids were growing up. And so in Boston, you don't have help. And you don't have help because it's very expensive, girl. It's expensive. And so we had to do all the work ourselves. And so it was both of us doing the house duties together. And so one of the things that, at least for me, I was very proud of and grateful for, my husband would help me, even at night with the kids. During the day, I would be the kids. Before I decided to now stay at home and raise our kids, he would help me with the girls. So he would help, change the diapers. He would help go food shopping because I hate shopping. So he would actually help me with shopping. He would literally, we were a
working
team.
Together again.
Actually, that's the thing.
Family.
We were a team. But also what helped is what I always say, community. So we had a couple friends of ours. We were 5 couples and we would all do stuff together. So we would rotate homes when we would host. So every month, it was monthly. We would do monthly visits to our home. We would go to each other's homes. Our kids grew together. So what we would do, we would look for people who have similar value systems. And so with those value systems, what was bringing us together? So we would either study how to raise our kids and how Christianity is, we are Christians. So we would also study the Bible together. So we'd study the Bible. We would look for activities to do together. So whether it's going to the park. I remember one of the couples was really, before I was even on this, they were huge on organic farming, organic ice cream, going to visit different places, taking kids to the park. And also doing activities that were not financially intense.
True.
So we were looking for activities where, by the way, we parents and our kids, we did things together. So we would take them to either parks outside for free. Again, we're in Boston. There's a park near our house where when it would snow, we would take them to sled on those whatevers. But looking for things that you would do together with your kids. Have the kids go play. We would teach them how to play kati. We're like, all right, you guys go play kati. The childhood games that we played. So those are the things. I think for me, support is important. Speaking together as a couple. Speaking out your needs that you have as a couple is really important. And really speaking your heart out. You hear him, he hears you. And then you both work together. And support comes both ways. I know you've asked how do we support men, but also how do we support our men? Right? I mean, how do men support us was the question. But also how do we support our men? And it's that aspect of communicating and really hearing someone's heart without judgment and helping them where they need help. And I'm telling you, when you do that, it becomes easier. And I'll tell you guys, because our kids are now going to college. Were their years that were hard? Yes. Very, very hard. Because what's happened is your lifestyle has changed. There's as we have 2 girls now, we had 2 girls that we were taking care of. Lifestyle completely changed. Was it hard? There were both seasons that were really hard. But I'll tell you, now that the girls are now going to college, it's almost like we're back to dating again. Even though we've also had some seasons that were difficult, I can see how we're back to those old dating days. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And so it's really important to recognize that you will go through seasons, but it's going through those hard seasons that really make you stronger as a couple. Make you stronger. If it means you go for therapy, please do.
Yes, by all means.
See some specialists. If it's mentors, seek those. Those are the things that we've done and they've helped us. And I want to pour out to you so that it can also help you.
Well, like you kind of preempted where I wanted to go with the last, and this is, just a final question. You turned 50 this year.
I did.
And just to wind up this episode, what words of wisdom do you live by that you'd love to share with the audience?
Words of wisdom I live by. Well, number one, God is my anchor. Like, no doubt about it. So everything I do in my life, I am always asking, is this pleasing to God? Like, my heart is always coming from that place. Is this pleasing to God? That is like, he is the anchor and everything rotates around that. So God is my anchor. That's number one. And number two, I'm huge on self-development and growth. And why this is important to me is I recognize we all have different potentials inside of us and different giftings on the inside of us. There was a season when I couldn't understand what my gifting was. I knew there was something on the inside, but I didn't know what it was. And so I think even what I'm sharing is really coming from my own experiences. And it's don't give up on you.
Yes. Oh, that's so good.
Don't give up on you.
Yes.
Because at some point you will figure who you are. When I tell you that was in my mid-20s, before I got into doing what I'm doing, I felt like I was lost. And every time I remember we would visit our friends who are in different states in the America, and I'd be on a plane. And as the plane would be taking off, this image just stuck there. When we were first sitting on before we took off, I remember I would tell God, I literally feel like my life is stuck. I feel like I'm just sitting down and I feel like there's a place you want me to go. Yes. So when the runway was taking off, I'd be like, God, can my life take off like this plane? Like this plane is taking off. So I've always had that imagery in my lifestyle. And this is to say, don't give up on yourself.
Yes. That's so
if you feel deep down this, stay in it. Stay in it.
The discomfort.
And that staying in it is hard. It's uncomfortable. How did I figure my lifestyle? I didn't know this way, but being diagnosed with high cholesterol is how I figured what part of my purpose in life was. To help other women create healthy lifestyle because of what I went through. And it's funny, your journey will be so different because God speaks to us all so differently.
Yes.
And so you've got to be willing to lean in and to hear, what is he saying? How does he talk to you? For me, he speaks to me through, I think I've shared this story. I don't know. I don't cram verses. I'm not a crammer. That's my young sister. I left it for her. From when I was in college, I've never been a crammer from primary school. But I would literally wake up with Bible verses. I'd wake up with songs. That's how he talks to me. And so I know that that's not me. Because your girl don't cram. Your girl don't know nothing, in that sense. So you got to understand how does God speak to you? And the only way to know how he speaks to you is you got to spend time with God. That's it.
That's
it. You got to spend time with God, the creator of the heavens and the earth. And then you will know how he will speak to you. And he speaks to all of us very differently.
He does.
And then finally, so I talked about God being an anchor, personal growth being important. And for me, relationships is also really important. So having community, having relationships is important.
Because we can't live in isolation.
We cannot live in isolation.
And there you have it, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, and look forward to the next episode. Feel free to continue putting down your questions. We can do a second episode if you really love this one, of what else you'd love to understand about your fat loss journey, weight loss, or however you picture it. And we'll be so willing to respond to you. Otherwise, you have one life, you have one body, and we want you to treasure it. Cheers.
Bye.